Hey, you're finally awake. You were caught trying to steal memes like a dirty little boy. Good evening, laddies, lasses, and lassos. Welcome to Click. I am so looking forward to having you here with me today just for a few moments so I can bask in your reflected glory. Oh yes, indeed. But before we get on to today and your reflected glory, keep in mind that Mango is coming back in March. So if you didn't have a chance to pick up Mango, it's gonna be available for sale once again. You can squeeze it. I'm sorry. Anyway, so today we are gonna look into TrueOffMyChest, which is amazing stories, dramatic conclusions, and everything in between. We are gonna look into I got something in my eye. Why this intro doesn't like me? Today we're gonna look into a subreddit. Who would have thunk it? Sorry, getting. Today we're gonna look into r/TrueOffMyChest. and it's good stories. Enjoy. Oh my god, my intro is that's just amazing. I'm laughing at myself. Well, I suppose that's some kind of good indicator. Why is this thing still stuck in my eye? Dear God. r/TrueOffMyChest. I am leaving my boyfriend over a prank. I am still shaken up a bit. Shaken up. Okay, that's why it was so hard to read. It just repeats it. I was like, am I going nuts? I'm still a bit shaken up about this, so if this doesn't make much sense, I apologize. Trigger warning for the self-harmy stuff. I, 18F, have been with my boyfriend 20M for almost 2 years. I moved in with him last August, and things have been pretty rocky. My whole life I've struggled with my mental health, specifically depression, anxiety, and self-hurties. I've been clean for a while though. I also have a history of trauma, but I don't need to get into that. I made sure my boyfriend knew this when we started dating, because I wanted him to be able to nope out of the relationship if that was too much for him to deal with. He assured me it wasn't an issue. He never seemed to really get the whole mental health thing though. He would make comments saying stuff like, depression is just spicy sad. Spicy sad? Oh no, this is not promising, is it? And people with trauma should just get over it. He also thinks that only veterans can get PTSD. You know that mental health tip of just get good? Oh yes, indeed. I've tried explaining things to him, but he just brushes me off, so I do the best to ignore him. Recently, he started watching couple prank channels on YouTube, and he started pranking me. At first, it was just small things, like putting way too much flavor in my water or salt in a bite of my food. I laughed it off, it didn't really bother me. But then he started jumping out and scaring me. That kind of stuff really affects me sometimes because of my PTSD, and I try to explain that to him. He would apologize, but then do it again the next day. I was getting annoyed and frustrated, but I tried to let it be. Things escalated last week when he put some noisemakers under the toilet seat in the middle of the night. Oh my god, even like all the mental health stuff? If that is so bad. Why would you do this? I woke up to go to the bathroom and sat down. Boom! It being late at night, me being half awake, and the loud noise all mixed together gave me a full-blown panic attack. I was on the bathroom floor crying and having flashbacks. After I don't know how long, I stopped crying and was just staring into space, having flashbacks. He came in because I guess he noticed I was gone for a while. When he saw me sitting on the floor, he remembered his little prank and started laughing. I just stared at him for a second, got up and called him a butt. I slept in the living room the rest of that night. The next day, I sat him down and told him he cannot keep scaring me like this. No more jumping out at me, no more loud noises. He pretty much sighed and rolled his eyes, but he said he would stop. I mean, even if you take the mental health aspect out of this, I don't think I could live with someone who messed with my sleep to this extent. Like, that is absolutely so far out there. This is no longer a prank. This is like, what do you even call it? Like domestic terrorism. This is, no. Everything was fine for a week. I thought this whole prank thing was finally over. Yesterday, I got home from being out with a friend, actually feeling better for the first time in a while. When I walked in the house, all the lights were off, so I assumed he was still at work, which isn't abnormal because sometimes he works late. I plugged my phone in because it died on my way home, and when it powered up, I got a notification that he sent me a text. It just read, "So sorry, I love you." I replied saying it's okay, I'll see you when I get home, love you, and I heard his phone ding in the bathroom. That was weird, I thought. I got up to go get his phone. When I got into the bathroom, I saw him laying in the bathtub. The bath was full of water. There was an empty bottle of pills on the sink, and he was covered in red liquids. Yeah, you get the gist, basically. It's a very graphic scene. My heart just sank. I started having a panic attack, I was hyperventilating, crying, and I was just frozen. After a minute, I ran to the living room to get my phone to call 911, and I hear splashing and then laughter. I turned around to see him standing in the hallway, just laughing. He said he got me, and I should have seen the look on my face. I don't even know how to describe the feelings I was experiencing. I was so mad and sad and scared. Oh yes, you know that little good old prank you pull on your partner that, makes them call 911? You know those harmless pranks that, won't leave anyone traumatized or involve the cops or anything? When someone starts dialing 911 because of a prank, it's no longer a prank. I was so mad and sad and scared. I didn't even say anything. I just walked out of the house. I kept walking and eventually figured I needed to call my friend to come get me. At first, I didn't tell her what happened. I just told her I needed to come get me. It was an emergency. She came and took me back to her house where I'm at now. My boyfriend keeps calling me and he sent me some text saying he was sorry and it was just a joke. Just a joke to you maybe. This is literally the whole YouTube thing. It's just a prank, bro. And I am overreacting and I need to come home. I am not answering. I don't even know what I would say to him. My friend is going over to his house tomorrow to get my things while he's at work. She said I can stay with her however long I need. I don't know what I'm going to do, I just feel numb. Well, there are multiple layers to this that to me just screams incredibly yikes. Like the first thing is obviously the pranks are going way overboard. If you can even call them pranks anymore, I would say as soon as the cops are getting called because of a prank, it has kind of left the innocent prank territory long ago. The second part is just not respecting when you say no. It's like, hey, these pranks are legitimately bothering me. I wouldn't be too happy if someone started pranking me in the middle of the night, messing with my whole sleep schedule. And the third part is the mental health aspect. It's okay to not be able to fully understand what someone else is dealing with, but the least you can do is respect it. If they say, hey, this thing affects me in this way, even if you can't fully relate or have gone through it yourself, the least you can do is trust them when they say that something affects them negatively and act accordingly, especially if it is your partner. So there are like 3 different layers of yikes to this, and I don't like any of them, so make what you will of that. I pretend I'm an influencer, so I will do basic chores. For the past 3 months, I have been pretending to be an influencer. I tend to go through serious bouts of depression. I won't shower or eat. I just lay in bed and rot. However, I have recently discovered that if I record myself and pretend that I am talking to an audience, I'm able to motivate myself to get ready and go to work. This also goes for my chores. I'll do a time-lapse video of myself doing the dishes, laundry, and everything else that I'll need to do. I don't post these videos anywhere, and I don't show these videos to anyone. They're just really fun to look back on and makes me happy to see that I've accomplished things while feeling this poopy about life. That is such a smart idea, and if it gets you to get out of bed and actually helps you, both mentally and practically, that is amazing. All the power to you. This is so sweet. I hope you get through it okay, and the fact that you found some kind of mechanism that works for you is amazing. Even as someone that works with this kind of stuff, I have done so a few times, where I make a video, for example, of something I really feel the need to get off my chest, but I also know that it's not the kind of topic that would necessarily be well received publicly. For example, it can be about a very sensitive experience I've had with some kind of overzealous fan, for example. Not really the kind of thing I want to promote publicly because it can lead to a lot of other stuff or even reinforce the behavior in others, but something that is still nice to get off your chest. So I've actually done things like that a couple of times when something really bothers me, but I also know it's not appropriate for the wider audience. I just record like a mock-up video and then I never release it. So that can be healthy. If you have something like that, something you need to get off your chest, or some habit you want to get into, try making it into a video. It actually works surprisingly well. Fear not, everyday internet user. It is I, Regular Shirt Click, here to protect you from harmful things on the internet. Together with my trusted sidekick, Nord Threat Protection. Nord Threat Protection does not only protect you from malware and shady software, it can also block shady links, shady websites, and even disable those autoplay super loud ad videos. Have you ever mistakenly clicked one of those shady links that masquerade as, for example, a download button or a new email button? Well, at least I can tell 90% of them apart, but do you also have a family member that insists on clicking on all these things and filling up the family computer with countless weird softwares and oh my god, it's just a black hole of horribleness? We can fix it today with Nord Threat Protection. Simply go into your NordVPN app and turn on threat protection and all the features that you want to enable. However, it does not require a VPN to function fully. So what are you waiting for? Go to nordsecurity.com/theclick to get your exclusive deal today. There is also a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you're not lucky, you can get the moonies back within 30 days. Thank you so much, Nord Security, for sponsoring this video. And now, back to browsing memes safely. Mwah. He cheated, and I am not having the baby. I am relieved to have ended my relationship with my unfaithful partner. Our age difference and his cruel, dishonest behavior were red flags that I had ignored for way too long. Despite the ups and downs, he had been unfaithful for a long time. When I found out I was preggo, it was heartbreaking, but he was overjoyed. However, a few weeks ago, I discovered that he had been cheating on me with multiple women, which shattered my heart. I was faced with the decision to either have a baby with a liar and regret it, or to terminate the pregnancy. I chose to terminate the pregnancy without his knowledge, and it felt liberating to see him fall apart and deny everything. Some of my friends and family may disagree with my decision, but I am happy with my choice. That is such a nasty way to find out about it. That is horrible. This strikes me as that kind of situation where he is overjoyed about it because he would love to be a parent and all that kind of stuff, but he doesn't really want to invest anything from his side that would make it a stable relationship for you. I think one thing I've learned as I grew up as a male is that ladies look for someone who's faithful, trustworthy, and that kind of stuff because you don't want to deal with 2 babies once you decide to have a child. Lessons learned growing up, I suppose. Don't be unfaithful. It's nasty. If you need to be unfaithful, you shouldn't be in a relationship to begin with. Should be pretty basic. And also, I can see decisions like this are never ever easy. I can't say that I can relate to it, but also having a baby is a massive life decision. And if you're also stuck with someone who's already really problematic and lying and unfaithful and kind of rocking your world, imagine what they would be to deal with when there's a baby in the picture. That is absolutely horrible. I can definitely see why this choice was made. That is a horrible future perspective. I got declined for an interview because I am poor. I am qualified for the job, and she even said so after accepting my 2-week late application because the other candidates weren't suitable. However, she asked me before the interview if I had family or friends in the city where the job is, due to its notoriously high rent. I asked if the wage listed was enough to live off of, and she blatantly says no and hopes to raise it next year. She'll only hire people to have friends or family to lean on or are independently wealthy. Do they really have a job listing that's like, you can't live off of this? We just want like a rich person who wants to do this job for fun? That is essentially who you're looking for. Honestly, I appreciate her candor, but it just sucks that I have to live with this capitalistic dystopia where I'm not able to get a job that I love and am qualified for without having prior wealth or support. I just need to vent about this. Honestly, it sounds like she was doing you a favor. Knowing you can't live off of the salary, it would make sense to move there for that job. It totally does sucks that since the 70s, wages haven't been increased anywhere near the line of housing costs, so housing is so expensive. Hope you find something soon. I actually had a discussion recently with a financial individual, and we got into a discussion about bitcoins and like all these wacky investments that have come up in the last few years. And one of the correlating factors, I was told, is that in countries where housing has spiked a lot, you have an increase in, for example, Bitcoin and crypto investments. Because a lot of young people are like, well, even if I save up, I can't afford a house. But if I invest in this wacky scheme, then maybe I'll get rich and can afford a house. So if I lose the money, I can't afford a house. If I don't do anything, I still can't afford a house. So that was a fascinating correlating factor. Not that I'm promoting it in the least. I think crypto and NFTs and all that kind of stuff is really weird. I think there are smarter things to do with your money, if I'm gonna be honest. It's almost like borderline gambling. But that is an interesting correlating factor. So there you go. Do what you will with that information. I would say if you want to learn about investing more of a serious term, take a meeting, for example, with an advisor. Doesn't mean that you have to go to a specific firm or anything, but having, for example, long-term investment in index funds or more safe options and then balancing it out with, for example, industries you specifically believe in is a very good way of doing it. Having one stable, centralized portfolio and then like picking stuff you believe is going to go well, for example, because then you have a large chunk of your money slowly, like basically increasing in value over time, and then you can like snipe smaller opportunities with maybe 20% of your funds or stuff like that. It can be a bit more risky with. But this kind of modern thing about going all in into like some pump and dump scheme on Twitter, it's not going to make you rich, fam. It's going to make the people who made the thing rich, not you. My son didn't eat his birthday cake because of my husband's fitness obsession. My husband is very conscious of fitness and appearance. I haven't seen him eat a bite of cake since our wedding. He exercises religiously. My husband expects our oldest son to be just like him. He's named after him and my husband sees him as his mini-me. My husband loves him, but his love can be tough. That is not... like wanting the best for your kid and that kind of stuff and giving them advice like, hey, this road in life worked for me. That's fine. But the moment you try to pave it as the only road and be like, you are basically me, then it's no longer the child's life. Come on now. He just had his 11th birthday and I had a wake-up call. He only ate 2 small bites of his cake. I asked what was wrong and why he wasn't eating it. He told me, I don't want to disappoint Dad. I asked my husband to tell him it was okay to eat it. He said, why would I do that? I'm not eating it, so why should I encourage my son to? He tasted it, he's fine. Our son should enjoy his childhood. I don't want him to be afraid to have a piece of cake on his birthday. I saw him watching his little brother eat it and he looked so sad. Even when he opened his presents, I could tell he was masking sadness. My heart is breaking for my poor child. I see now how my husband's behavior has affected him. Encouraging healthy habits is an important thing to do with kids, but it's not something you have to do like so religiously. It's not like, oh, you have to have this specific diet and eat a specific cake. No, when you teach your kid healthy habits, at least based on my experience when I was a kid, it's pretty basic stuff. Make them do sports a couple of times a week. Don't let them have ice cream before dinner. You know, basic things that keeps them healthy. This kind of stuff will most likely just lead to eating disorders and a lot of self-doubt. They're 11 years old. They should be able to have sweets on Saturdays and just enjoy their childhood. Like, come on. You can start worrying about, excessive fitness when you're 30 and you feel your dad bod coming creeping on. Not speaking from experience at all. Moving on to the next meme. My husband took the tires off my car. He got up early this morning. I didn't think anything of it because he goes to the gym before work. I saw it when I went to look for my son's toy in the car. All my tires were gone. My heart sunk because I thought he must have been mad about something. I called my husband, asked him what he did. He said, you did nothing. I would just prefer you not go anywhere this week. I said, why didn't you just tell me that? He said, I wanted you to understand. Words aren't enough for you sometimes. I am so tired of his games. I don't even know what he wants from me anymore. Sometimes I see where I messed up, but this was completely unexpected. I'm so loving towards him. I don't deserve this. That is so overly controlling. I don't trust that you will listen to me when I told you to stay indoors 24/7 for a week. So I destroyed your car, basically. Well, not destroyed it, but deconstructed it at the very least. This isn't a healthy relationship. This is not how it works. This is either him being hyper paranoid about something or overly controlling, which I suppose in this instant the conclusion is exactly the same. So, This doesn't sound like a healthy relationship, if I'm gonna be honest. That does, My son wants to be a landlord, and he's insulting me because I'm a tenant. Has he been watching too many grind set videos on YouTube? Like all those 21-year-olds that are like, if you're 20 years old and don't have a Lamborghini, you have failed. You should have 5 rental properties and own $1 billion by the time you're 5. My 41M son, 15M, has taken a keen interest in becoming a landlord, but has also started insulting me for not owning my own house. I am glad to see he's taken some initiative. However, I'm concerned about his mindset. We currently live in an apartment, and he has told me that I am a failure and a rentoid. Oh my god. Is he really going like the grind set incel path on social media? A rentoid? And that he is embarrassed to be related to someone without any land. Okay, is this going like a hyper elitist thing as well? We're a pure bloodline. We ain't no rentoids. I try to explain to him that houses cost a lot and that I've worked very hard to provide for our family and that there's nothing wrong with choosing to rent. I also explained to him that landlords often mistreat their tenants and that if he wants to be a landlord, he should work on being a kind one. However, he has insisted that it is right of landlords to charge whatever they want and has said when he's a landlord, he wants to evict single mothers, which I find very concerning. What kind of stuff has he been watching? Like some kind of incel landlord? Is this a thing? Is this a trend that exists? This blows my mind. This is like all the worst parts of the internet just mashed together into one single lump of lard. God. He spends a lot of time on the internet. There we go. Called it. And I am worried some ideas from online may be influencing his thinking. This month, when the landlord came to collect my rent, my son offered him a $50 tip out of his own money. I tried to explain that you do not tip landlords, but he insisted I was being a greedy renter and taking advantage of the landlord. I explained that we paid significant rent already, but he did not listen. Really? Is this kid for real? Just wait how happy you are with tipping rent when you're paying your own rent. I mean, maybe that's the best lesson. You start charging him rent for his own room. I wouldn't really support that for like a 15-year-old, but like in principle, I think that would like give a bit of a wake-up call. And then afterwards he can just get the money back, I suppose. I don't know what the solution would be, but like some sort of wake-up call I think is definitely a good thing. Before this started, he was really into video games and did not seem to try very hard in school, which I found concerning. On the one hand, his grades have improved and he even started walking around the neighborhood offering to shovel to make some extra money, which he has put into savings. Probably to buy a bunch of properties. I'm not sure if he understands how much properties cost. Like, the problem with being a landlord, if you legitimately want to go that path, is you need to have some sort of funds to get the business off the ground. You need to have a significant amount of money so you can even buy the property to begin with, and then you collect rent and make like money off of it over time instead. Like, the initial investment is quite a lot. However, his words hurt me, and I feel his mindset is not constructive and compassionate. I don't want to discourage this newfound success, but I'm very worried about him. It sounds like he's kinda going down like the Tate-ish rabbit hole on the internet about like the grind set and the matrix and, you know, the alpha chadness and screw single mothers and all that kind of stuff. It's a really weird mindset. Don't get me wrong, ambition is good, but this feels like it's ambitious for the wrong reasons. It feels like it's ambitious to like get back at other people and be able to hold power over people and actively discriminate against certain people. It's not the right motivators for being successful or being ambitious. Edit, thank you all very much for the advice and attention. I will certainly have a frank discussion with him and restrict his access to the internet going forward. Hopefully all will turn out well and it's not a sign of worse things to come. He's a good kid and I'm sure with a little guidance he will be right as rain. I think so too. He's 15. Like, kids that age are exposed to a lot of things online, especially unsupervised, and they're also in a very impressionable age where they're trying to figure themselves out, they're trying to be cool, and they should find a new thing, and you have all these influencers telling them they should be a millionaire by the age they're 20, and all this kind of stuff. So I think they will get out of it, unless they are just allowed to splurge in it for the next 5 years and, you know, have nothing else in life that is interesting to them. But this kind of stuff is challenging, and I see this online all the time. It's everything from incel forums to, you know, the grind set kind of stuff to all these weird standards various finance influencers set on people, or like certain parts of fitness culture. It's a lot of rabbit holes online that are, to some extent, fine on the surface, maybe not some of the ones I mentioned at first, but this kind of stuff is dangerous, especially for young kids, because it gives them a very skewed version of reality. And what a lot of these talkers do to get these kids on board is that they start saying something that sort of makes sense, you know, something that is maybe a little bit controversial but still has some truth to it, and then they just spin off of that. But because you've already lured people in with this initial semi-true statement, they start believing you, and then they sell their entire worldview, basically. It is a dangerous rabbit hole, especially at that age. My girlfriend whispered something to me when she thought I was asleep. Because of my job, I always wake up way earlier than my girlfriend, literally 2 hours earlier, so I also have to go to bed way earlier than her to get enough sleep. Yesterday evening, when I went to bed, I couldn't really sleep because I had an important event today at work that made me nervous. So I was still awake when my girlfriend went to bed. I was really hot, yes, even during winter, so I slept without my blanket. I thought about talking to her, but something told me to keep my eyes closed. And I did. She took the blanket and covered me with it. She then kissed me on the forehead and then she said it. She whispered it. She said every single word. Some people might say it's too cheesy, but I don't care, and I can remember every single word. I love you. I love you so much. I love you more than anything in the world. I love you more than words can express. You make me laugh. You make me happy. You make me feel loved. I had never liked the idea of getting married, but you changed my mind. I want to stay with you forever. I would rather die than living without you. My life isn't complete if you're not in it. I love you. Then she kissed my forehead again, and I tried my best not to let her know I was awake, which was hard because I teared up. After that, she went back to her side of the bed and lay down. I only then opened my eyes. I lay there for at least half an hour until she started snoring, and I knew she was asleep. I got up to go to the bathroom, and I cried my eyes out. This was the most wonderful thing I have ever heard. I've never felt so much love in my life. After many years of bullying, my self-confidence was so destroyed that I didn't know if I deserved to be loved, let alone that anyone could love me like that. What made it even more special was the fact that my girlfriend had a bad past and had a lot of trouble showing her feelings on the outside. Even with me, she had a hard time being vulnerable sometimes, and the fact that she said this when she thought I couldn't hear her means that what she said came from the heart. That is so sweet. I wish you get to the point where she says this to you When you're both, well, you were both awake, but when you both know that the other one was awake. But this is so beautiful, because like you said, it shows that it's very genuine. She didn't say this to try to convince anyone, you or anyone listening or anyone around her. She said this just because she genuinely wanted to. That is so beautiful. I wish you all the best. I just found out my husband is 17,000 in debt. My husband and I are looking to buy a house, and this cute house is about to hit the market, and we both really like it. My husband got a side-by-side of an ATV in July of 2022, and we used my credit card, but he makes the payment. 18K on my credit because of him. So I was talking to him, seeing if he could get approved for the loan, since I don't think I can. We've been married for almost a year. We didn't want to merge finances, which I know is now a mistake. So I checked his credit and it said 17580, almost 18,000. I found out this last Friday at work. I told him to meet me for lunch and that I was upset. I have been crying because I'm thinking he has a gambling issue or something, because he hasn't brought anything, like we aren't getting packages like that at the house, so it has to be something like that. It's worse. He is in debt 17K because of OnlyFans and has spent probably $100,000 in the last 5 years we've been together. The only edit: the reason that he used it was to have control over women, and that he tried to stop multiple times and just couldn't. That is all. Oh my god. Oh, that is so... Stories like this, when a partner has like a really serious hidden issue, and then it comes out like this, like, hey, we're just about to buy our first house together, oh, the future is bright, and then hippity hoppity, nope, OnlyFans instead of your property. Oh god. I mean, this is basically on par with some sort of gambling addiction. The effect is about the same. That is, ooh, that's bad. Just because she is hot doesn't mean we're doing the deed. I work at a large corporation. I am a manager with 9 people reporting to me, 6 men and 3 women. 2 of the women are average looking and 1 is objectively gorgeous. This is vital to the story. I'm not just being a creep. When I took over this group, I started doing quarterly out of the office lunch with each employee. It was a good way to get to know them, and it made discussing any issues easier when we were out of the office. I made it clear when I started doing this that no one has to participate. One person chooses not to, and we do discussions like this at work. We go to one of a handful of places near the corporate office, so there's usually quite a few other people from work there. For 7 of the 8 people I do this with, no problem. But twice in the last year, someone has reported my relationship with a good-looking woman to HR. They see the 2 of us having a business lunch and presume that it means we are doing something naughty. No one thinks I'm doing something naughty with the 2 average-looking women, and no one thinks I'm doing the gay naughties with the dudes, but they assume the hot woman and I are doing the naughties. It is infuriating. I might have to give up the practice that has worked very well for my team because some people are sexist pigs. That is such a shame. It's such a nice way as well to get to know your team, because then they can talk about things in a very relaxed manner, problems, communication, you get to trust each other. This is a great thing to do. I mean, HR, I've never heard of an HR that's like actually on your side though. So it doesn't really surprise me that a non-issue is brought up as an issue. Oh, come on. You know, I would also think, playing like the devil's advocate against the reportee here, I would also think that if you're doing something naughty, inappropriately, with someone on your team or at the office, you wouldn't go to like one of the restaurants on the same block as the office where like half your office can see you. You know, that's that's like, do they think you're doing the naughties and also are incredibly stupid? Like, come on now, it's insulting on 2 levels. God damn it. I brushed my teeth and showered today. Been in a depressive episode for 2 weeks. Did not leave my bed unless for drinking water and to use the toilet. Today, I tried to make an effort for myself. And I did it. I showered today. And I brushed my teeth. Edit. This is a bit overwhelming. I did not expect this kind of support and compassion, and never knew how much kind words and encouragement could move me this way. Thank you for all the kindness. I did not realize how much I needed it now. That is so sweet. And also, hang in there. You can do it. Everyone has up and downs in life, and that is perfectly okay. If you get into episodes like this, and if you have the access to it, consider talking to someone. Feeling less alone can very often make things feel less overbearing. And I think that's a good way of doing it. Talking to it, started working on it. It's a very good way. You can do it, and you deserve to be happy. That doesn't mean it's just an easy, good recipe, but we believe in you. I hope you do better, and this is an amazing first step. We believe in you. I married my bully sister. Oh, I'm intrigued by this one. Is this just an ultimate power move? Okay. I need to read this. I just needed to tell someone because I was talking to my wife about it recently. I am from a very small, very bigoted southern town, and it wasn't hard for others to find fault in anything I did. Also, due to the size of the town, I was in the same class with the same people from beginning to end. I had a lot of bullies back then, people who would hurl slurs at me, people who would purposefully ostracize me, teachers and staff who would overlook it because they're just playing around. There was also the uptick in homophobic slurs when we hit high school. Now, I am a proud non-binary pagan, but back then I was terrified of anyone knowing that I even liked girls. The one girl who was openly lesbian in our school was tortured, both verbally and physically, and the school overlooked it because she was already troubled. I'm sorry, what kind of excuse is that? We don't have to fix this issue because she already has so many issues. Isn't that like a reason to start trying to fix the issues though before it becomes, grossly overwhelming for a vulnerable teenager? No? Okay. What sense that made, I will never know. Regardless, being publicly outed as anything not straight in that town was a guarantee that my life would be hell. There was this one particular bully who did it. He certainly wasn't the originator of the rumor, but became as he was one of the more connected students in town. His words held a lot of weight. If he said it on Monday, by Tuesday the entire town was calling me all sorts of homophobic slurs that I didn't even really know what they meant. From 7th grade until I was baptized to fix me. A little splash of water ought to do it. Dear God. I was everything from a predator to a W word to a witch, and those were the gentler words. I didn't find out it was him, however, until after I married his sister. I didn't marry my angel out of spite towards him. He wasn't even a thought. My wife is smart, funny, beautiful, kind, and all around the most amazing person I've ever met. Wait a second. So this person went on homophobic witch hunts while having a gay sister. Were they just not aware that the sister were out? Or are they really that disconnected from reality and just bitter? That's pretty wild. That's pretty nasty. We'd met in passing while we lived in our hometown, but we became so much closer after we moved away. We knew who each other were because of a town the size of ours. Everyone knew everyone's great-grandparents, but it never registered what it would mean to marry her outside of marrying my best friend. It wasn't until she was telling me about her plans to visit her brother now that she was about to have a baby, it clicked. I married my homophobic bully sister. The ammo, the jokes, the clapbacks. I have missed so many opportunities to rub it in this butthole's face that I got with a sister. I am a fool. I came to Reddit because I can't lament to my wife about it anymore, but I can't get over my absolute lack of proper revenge for this. I also don't know how to go about it other than going, hey, you remember that time you made my life a living hell for being gay? Well, I effed your sister, so maybe you were onto something. Oh my God, it has to be like something dramatic in front of the family or something, making a whole hoo-ha, so he has to be embarrassed in front of multiple people. Oh yes, indeed. The fact that they haven't come forward and apologized before that, when they realize it, now everyone is family, they could at least, own up to it and try to make the argument, I'm sorry, I was young and stupid and didn't know better and I was influenced by the older, cooler kids or whatever. Like, sure, people grow up, it's still nasty as crap, but that can at least try to own up to something if you acknowledge your fault. But the fact that you have become family and they're still trying to pretend it never happened, oh, God, Yeah, I would embarrass the crap out of this person. They deserve it. My girlfriend, 27F, did the sweetest thing for my brother, 9, and now I know she's the one. My parents moved into another school towards the end of school year and had trouble making friends. He still invited his whole class to his birthday party that was on Friday, but nobody came. None of the kids. It was really heartbreaking seeing all the empty tables when he was really looking forward to it. My girlfriend of 4 years decided to call her brothers asking them to come over. She then took off to pick up her nephews. They are a little older, but they're still really nice to my brother. She called up her friends with kids. It wasn't a ton of people, but it was way more than before. All thanks to her. My little brother was so happy playing in the jumper with her nephews and brothers. They will all play wrestling with him. He had such a good time. It was nice that everyone came and being so nice to him, but I'm also super grateful to my girlfriend because she made it happen. I was watching her that whole time going, wow, I want to marry this woman. She's the one for me. Now I'm literally browsing online for engagement rings. This is so freaking sweet. Your little brother was playing with his future family. I love this. Gave me all the feels. I wish you the best life ever. That is all I kept seeing. Thank you. This is making me cry, man. This is so freaking sweet. Oh my God. The contrast between these posts are absolutely amazing. Some are like, my husband cheated on me with a literal cow. And the next post is like, my girlfriend saved the birthday of a small child. It's so beautiful. Oh, the contrasts, man, it keeps me alive. I left my husband because he's a pastor. Trigger warning, self-harmy stuff and trauma. Married at 21, separated by 24. I experienced so much religious trauma in 3 short years. My husband and I started dating when I was 15. We were both heavily involved in the church, involved in leadership as teens. He grew up in the church and I did not, but I was heavily dedicated. Even so, we had premarital naughties. Hold hands before marriage, what the sin? This made me the easy A character of the church at 15 years old. No one held him accountable, but I was considered a tempter to men, to the point where church leaderships didn't want me around their sons. Of course, yeah, that's the good old traditional bias, isn't it? It's like a couple of younglings do the naughties, it's the women's fault, what a temptress. He broke up with me, but continued to use me for intimate stuff, slept with his exes, etc. I held on tight because I believed he was my future husband. Yeah, the young and naive. That's a story I think a lot has gone through. Eventually, we made up and got married at 21. I didn't hate all of our marriage, but we both got pastor titles and it was very traumatic. I endured more abuse in the church and begged my husband to let us leave, because, of course, the man leads the family. He'd come up with excuses that allowed me to stay in harmful situations. I was still so incredibly in love with him and trusted him, but early this year, I hit my breaking point. I became, well, when you're thinking about doing the game over IRL, and it was scaring me. I decided to leave. My family doesn't get it. We were high school sweethearts. He was a very nice guy. He loves kids and they expected us to have children soon. They all seem confused as to why I left and why it came out of nowhere. Sometimes I question it too. Was it that bad? As I have nightmares about my church every week. I have never gone through a breakup as an adult, so it's crushing me, but I still think I did the right thing. It really sounds like you did the right thing. Like, not even the premise of like, hey, this is a romantic interest is particularly nice. Like, the whole community around made you some kind of target for basically, I don't know what it is, harassment or just social pressure when you were both guilty of something that shouldn't even be considered something guilty. Like, Jesus Christ, this isn't the 1500s. And also when he breaks it off with you, but he knows you're still emotionally involved, uses you for intimate activities to no consequence of his own, and then uses this whole community to kind of lament his very traditional values where he has say about what you can do with your life and that kind of stuff and needs his permission. I don't know, and the fact that he doesn't put you before other things when you're supposed to be life partners and the team against the world, so to say. There are so many things wrong with this, and I'm glad you walked away. I wish you all the best in the future. My boyfriend predicts my monthly cycle solely off of being an expert in the study of my honkers. Every day when he comes home from work, we tackle snuggle and sometimes do some cuddling and that kind of stuff. Haha. The other day we're doing this, and he flips my shirt up and stops. I hear him say, "Wait a minute." I'm thinking like, crap, did he find the Cheez-It in my bra again? Nope. He announces to me that my period is soon, and he can tell because my honkers are just ever slightly so bigger in a way I did not notice. But he clearly did, looking at the dates, and yup, he is right. Mfr is a wizard. The boobs are the windows to the ovaries. Shakespeare, probably. Isn't that just beautiful when you really know your partner in many good ways? I kicked out my girlfriend because she threw out my stuffed bear that my grandmother gifted me when I was young. I, male 23, have an old teddy bear that I got from my grandmother when I was young. She has since died, and this is the only item that I have from her. Teddy sits on a cabinet that is next to the bed, so he's always looking down on us. It's symbolic for me, as it makes me feel like my gran is always looking out for me. My girlfriend has always teased me about Teddy, but I never minded. I understand how it's not usual for a grown adult to keep stuffed animals in the room. I came back and found Teddy missing. I looked everywhere, but I knew that he didn't move on his own. When I asked her, she said that she threw him out while she was cleaning up because I'm too old for old toys. She also found it weird that he was just always there looking at us while we slept. I admit that I probably overreacted, but I told her to leave and not come back, unless she has Teddy with her. She went to her mom's and has not come back, so Teddy's gone for good. I am 58 and I have my stuffed dog Puddles on my bed. Your GF has absolutely no respect for you or the memories of your gran. Kick her to the curb. I am 37 and I have my toy browser sat on a shelf above my bed. Yeah, I do plushies all the time. I love plushies. Oh my god, it's the most beautiful thing ever. And also in this instant, like if you don't want to go the plushie argument and like, oh my god, adults and toys and blah blah blah, it's still like a piece of memory, something very specific you got from a relative that is no longer in this world. That means a lot no matter what the item is. And the fact that Dad would disrespect it, even, ignoring the whole BS argument about adults and toys, is so disrespectful. I don't like it. My girlfriend lost her entire college fund for the semester to a scam. I really don't know what to say. Honestly, I really love my GF a lot, but I just can't put up with her naivety anymore. She has lost $14.5 thousand to a crypto scam. She knows nothing about crypto at all. Nobody we know invests in it, and she fell for the scam over Twitter. I swear to God, I see something like this every single week now. It's so bad. That money was not just hers. Her parents and I contributed most of it. She only works part-time as a server, so it really feels great to know that the last 5 months of saving away has been for nothing because she naively thought a 12-hour-old Twitter was going to give her 50 bitcoins because she won a giveaway. It's not even like an investment opportunity and a pump and dump that she lost money. It's literally just a scam email. It's not even just like a shady investment opportunity that can be a little bit harder to recognize as a scam. It's just a straight up like Nigerian prince stuff. What? She's always been a moron, if I'm honest with you. Oh my god. She falls for things so quickly it's kind of absurd. This isn't even the first time she's done something so incredibly stupid before with money. She's always falling for sham pseudoscience scams and buying incredibly expensive supplements and products. She actually believes the YouTube scam ads that would freely give away her credit card info to any site she finds herself on. Those are easy enough to get past, however, because $50 of most stupid bottle of pills is one thing, $14,000 is another. I'm just tired, I guess. She actually still believed after a week that the transaction to transfer the 50 Bitcoin to her wallet was still on hold, and it was only me discovering her bank account had been emptied that I figured out she massively messed up. I don't even have the heart to tell her parents right now that their daughter just messed up so massively that she actually cannot attend school this semester. Now she's convinced that if she contacts the FBI, she'll be able to not only get her money back, but the 50 Bitcoin she was promised. Oh, so she gets everything, basically. That's a reasonable expectation of the world, I guess. The fact that she cannot even pay for her tuition this semester does not even cross her mind, and she still plans to attend classes and just take out a loan or something until the FBI gets her money back for her. I'm planning on breaking it off this week. I'm gonna tell her parents ahead of time so they don't just get drop-kicked with the info that she fell for the scam. I need the update where she pays the FBI $500 to assist with legal funds. 5,000! Those services don't come cheap and you're getting the best of the best, my dear! Oh my god. You know, you shouldn't blame the victim and all that kind of stuff, but at a certain point, you can't, like, live together with someone who so easily throws things away to, like, and just blindly trusts anything. This is, like, the naivety level of a child. And I saw a similar post about this, about someone's mom constantly falling for scams, and it was stuff like, she first sent money to a Nigerian prince email, and then she got a second Nigerian prince email, and she sent money to that too, because what are the odds of both of them being fake? Anyway, laddies, lads and lads, that's it for this video. I do hope you learned something, that you enjoyed your time here with me. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you in the very near future. Take care. Mwah.